Hello, this is Miss Broomfield. I want to give you guys an opportunity to explore the protractor with me today. If you look at the protractor, you will notice that it has two rulers. So on both sides, you see 0. So on this side on the bottom, it starts from 0 and it goes all the way to 180 degrees. Each number on the protractor is another degree. So protractors are used to measure angles. Protractors are used to measure angles. And the way I like to tell kids, I say, think of angles as corners. Same as corners. Okay? So think of angles as corners. Okay, so if we look at this protractor, let's say we have a vertex there and we create a ray that goes to 0. If we have another ray that stops at 55 degrees, that would be considered an acute angle. So we're measuring this corner right here. This is what we're measuring. The distance from one ray to the next, that is called an angle. So this angle is 55 degrees. It would not be 125. So not equal to 125 degrees. I would be looking at the wrong ruler if I said that it was 125 degrees. I should be looking at this part of the ruler. Okay, because I started here at 0 and I went this way. And also I see that the angle is less than 90 degrees. It didn't make it to 90 degrees, so it has to be an acute angle. Okay, let's talk about the right angle. So the right angle goes, so let's say I have another ray, and then I have a ray that goes up to 90. Okay, and that's not quite straight. Let me try that again, because it should be a straight line. So let's try that again. I use this ruler to make a straight line. Okay, this is my vertex. I go straight up to 90 degrees. Then I use it to make another straight line. Okay. All right, so there's my right angle. If I was to draw a box right here in the corner, that box sits perfectly in this corner. Anytime I can draw a box that fits perfectly inside of a corner and the lines go straight up and straight across, those type of lines are called perpendicular lines. Let me write that word down for you. Perpendicular. Let me write it again. Perpendicular lines. See if I can get a skinnier pencil pen to write with. Perpendicular lines are lines that make a right angle. Okay, perpendicular lines make a right angle. So it stops right here at 90. But anything bigger than 90, so if this line continued on, anything that stops at 179, so from 91 to 179 would be obtuse. Okay, so anything that size would be obtuse. So if I drew an angle from this ray and I stopped here, I passed up 90 degrees. So that angle is bigger than 90 degrees. Erase this line. If I stopped right here and I used the bottom ruler, that takes me to 131, just past that 130. Okay, so that would be 131 degrees. That would be considered obtuse because it's greater than 90 degrees. Okay, now if I go all the way to 180, so if, let's say I'm going to use this side. If I had a ray that started here, and I went all the way around, and I stopped at 180. So I started at 0 and I stopped at 180. That is called a straight angle. Okay, and it's also equal to 180 degrees. So anytime I go all the way around, that's a straight angle and it's equal to 180 degrees. So if you have a model of a protractor, I would like for you to label it. So I would say that I can go from 0 to 180 degrees from this side all the way to the other side using the top ruler, or I can come from this side starting at 0 all the way to the other side using the bottom ruler, and it just depends on which side the angle is facing. Is it facing the left or is it facing the right? Now also think of this. If I do start on this side, then from 0 all the way to 89 degrees would be acute, okay? And then from at 90, that would be right. So that's right. Anything in this territory would be acute. And then anything past that, all the way up to 179, would be obtuse. And if I go all the way to 180, that would be considered a straight angle. Okay, so this has been a brief introduction to using a protractor to measure angles. Stay tuned for an additional video that will show you how to measure angles that are side by side. When you have two angles that are equal to a larger angle, how to use the protractor to efficiently measure both angles.